Hi, I'm Claire and this is my wrap-up for June. I haven't done one of these in a while. I was reading really inconsistently earlier this year. It was a really bad combination of my house move and a really bad reading slump, which I broke with a whole lot of graphic novels, but now I'm back to about normal reading levels, so I thought I would start doing wrap-up videos again. The first book that I read this month was A Wilder Rose by Susan Wittig Albert. I listened to this one as an audiobook. It was a narrative non-fiction book about the life of Rose Wilder Lane, who was a journalist and an author, and also the daughter of Laura Ingalls Wilder, who wrote the Little House books. This book is about Laura and Rose's relationship, which was quite fraught, and also the writing of the Little House books, because it came out several years after Laura Ingalls' death that her daughter Rose had edited the Little House books very, very heavily, and in fact it was such heavy editing that it really was more like rewriting or ghostwriting. And so this book is Rose Lane kind of talking through with a friend of hers why she took on such a huge task as to basically ghostwrite all of these best-selling books for her mother with no attribution to her whatsoever. Her name is nowhere in those books. It was a really enjoyable read, but for me the best part was definitely the look that we got at the life of a working writer who's submitting articles and essays and short stories to magazines as well as writing novels in that period of time. This book covers the 1920s and 30s, talks a lot about what it was like to try to make a living under the Great Depression, which is just really interesting. Next, I read The Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy by Sam Maggs. This is another non-fiction book, and it's a handbook to fandom, fanish spaces, conventions, and that kind of thing for geek girls. This book was really fun. I quite enjoyed reading it, even though I thought that it was probably aimed at a readership a little bit younger than myself and a little bit newer to fandom. It's also got great illustrations. I'm not going to say much more about it now because I've already done a whole review for this book, so if that sounds like something you'd like to know more about, you can check that video out over here. Next, I read The Martian by Andy Weir. This is a reread for me. What happened was that I had heard before that there would be a film, but I saw a link to the trailer somewhere online and I watched it and I cried and I watched it again, and then I just had to listen to the audiobook of this book again because I really liked it the first time I'd read it, and I kept seeing The Martian pop up everywhere online, including some people saying things that they didn't like about it that I totally didn't get the first time that I read it. So I thought I'd give it another go and kind of listen to it again, both so that I could be ready for the movie and also with a bit of a critical ear, and I really loved it again. I mean, I knew everything that was going to happen. The first time I read it was less than a year ago. I remembered all the details, but the tension was still there. And I still really liked Watney and wanted him to succeed. Oh yes, by the way, in case you're wondering, this book is about a guy called Mark Watney who's stranded on Mars and has to survive using only science and eating a lot of potatoes. Anyway, I really can't wait for the film. The trailer looks amazing, and the film comes out at the end of November in the UK, so I'll definitely try to see it as soon as possible and do a book/film review to give my opinions, because I'm sure I will have many. After listening to The Martian, I really wanted more sci-fi, more space exploration, danger, spaceships, and so I took to Twitter and asked for recommendations, and one of the recommendations that I got was for Seven Eves by Neil Stevenson. I also remembered that Elizabeth from Books and Pieces really liked it, so I thought I would give it a go, and oh my goodness, I loved this book. I listened to the audiobook of this one as well, just because it's an enormous book. Now this book opens with the moon breaking into 7 pieces in the first line, and then very soon after that you get the news that the human race is doomed and they have 2 years before a shower of meteorites that will last for 10,000 years. So they start sending people to the International Space Station to try and survive that cataclysmic event in space. And I was just floored by this book, just the sheer scale of it. And this was my first Neil Stephenson book, so I will be going back and reading more of his classic works. So I'm going to do a very quick TBR section, and this is not going to be specific books that I'm planning to read, just because I can never stick to a TBR like that, but it's going to be just kind of mood and what I'm hoping to read now. I'm sure this will come as no surprise after I've just gushed about The Martian and Seven Eves, but I really want to read more sci-fi now, and in fact I've already read a non-fiction book about space and another sci-fi novel so far in July. So this was my June wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you've been reading in June, and if you have any cool sci-fi novels that you think I would enjoy, please let me know as well. I definitely have enough books to keep me going, and I shouldn't be buying more at the moment, but I haven't even signed up to my new library yet, so you know, if you have really good ideas, I could probably find a way to read them. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check out the sidebar for my review of the Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy, as well as my first ever favorites video. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button for more videos from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.